Hi, I'm Patrick McMillan with HappierKidsNow.com, and I'm really happy that you decided to take action by signing up to watch this free video to raise happier kids and teenagers. Well, I'm really excited to be sitting here with a good friend of mine and one of the top experts in the field of the law of attraction. You probably recognize him from being featured in the hit movie The Secret. He's also the creator of Wealth Beyond Reason program, Mastering the Law of Attraction. He also created a thing called the Boundless Living Challenge, which has helped thousands of people around the world face their fears and go for their dreams, and I'm one of them. So I'm really happy to have my special guest, Bob Doyle, with me.
Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we were talking earlier, Bob, about the state of happiness in children, and you know, we were saying, according to the Harvard Medical School, that the rate of childhood depression is increasing at a rate of 23% per year. And according to the World Health Organization, that they predict that by 2020, anxiety and depression is going to be the leading cause of death and disability. So my question to you, and I think this is going to help out a lot of parents and teachers out there, is what can we do as parents to help our children be happier?
Well, it's probably not a surprising answer, but you know, the children learn how to feel, how to respond, how to do their life from us, right? They're watching their parents, and we, of course, are a very stressed out generation, and we, you know, I think we've gotten progressively stressed out over the course of time, and you know, all these things that you're talking about, the high blood pressure and all these things, these are real issues now for adults. So if we're going to make any impact on our children, we got to pull it together for ourselves first. We can't tell them to be happy and then go off on tirades about everyday life. We've got to learn to manage our emotional state so that our children can see how that works, and how, if a situation comes up, that they actually have a choice in how they feel. But if our example is, if this stressful thing occurs, it's time to yell, it's time to get mad, it's time to get completely not present with, and that's the other thing, is as adults, we're so busy putting out our own adult fires that sometimes our kids get lost in the shuffle. You know, it's not that we're necessarily bad parents per se, but we're not as present for them as we need to be. If we want them to feel, you know, loved, complete, like they're good enough, worthy, all of these things, if we don't have time for them because we're so busy in our own stuff, over time they'll say, okay, well then I'm second to this, and they'll get lost in that. And of course the other thing that's a huge thing of mine is allowing a child to be who they are, you know, to explore their passions and things. You know, as children we're so exuberant, and we've got all this unlimited potential and imagination and creativity, and we're expressing it, and for a while the parents are, oh, isn't that cute? And then one day someone says, hey, stop, you know, don't do that, you know, this is not the time, this is not appropriate, blah 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 blah. And over time they feel like expressing themselves creatively or otherwise can get them into trouble. And that, I think, is really the root of the adult problems too, because that happened to us, it happens to everybody, because society has this idea of this is what's responsible, this is what's appropriate, these are realistic dreams, or these are unrealistic dreams. And if we tell a child that what they want to do with their life is unrealistic or irresponsible, and they feel like they can't be the person they want to be, that's where I believe teenage rebellion comes from. Because if someone came up to you and said, I forbid you to do the things you want, it's not, you know, you're going to rebel in some way as an adult, whether it's internally or externally or whatever, and children are no different.
Right, which makes perfect sense. In fact, I was talking to my kids this morning about that. We talk about happiness all the time, and you know, I was telling them all about this Happier Kids Now program that we're putting on, and how is it that parents can really help their kids be happy is by modeling happy behavior,
right,
or happy feelings in yourself, and that's, I think that's key, is that you know, children certainly pick up on happiness and unhappiness, and they're going to model the behavior that they see. You know, that's, in my opinion, I've seen that in my kids, that how I deal with things that happen in my daily life, they kind of model that when they face
because they've got nothing else to go with. Even if they naturally have another response, they've learned that this one must be the appropriate one, so they're just going to get upset. I've definitely seen that in my children. Before I got into this work, you know, I was a very stressed anxious person, you know. So my older daughters, who are now 22 and 19, they learned about how to respond to situations from how I was and we were then. Well, Max, who's my younger one, he's 9, he grew up in a totally different environment. He responds a little differently, you know, and while we don't sit around talking about the law of attraction, it's something that we live. But, you know, it's very clear that the children model our behavior. And we can't be hypocritical and say, you know, hey, lighten up, blah, 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 and then go be angst about, you know, our own stuff. Because and I also don't want to discount the impact that television has on a kid, because they also learn, because a lot of kids watch hours and hours of TV. I watched a lot of TV as a kid, but nothing like what's going on now.
Right.
With so many channels devoted with nothing but kids programs and whatever. And they learn, you know, those shows are written, some of them are written, and where there's a situation and there's drama. So kids learn to be dramatic from TV.
Right.
You know, and on TV it works, and everybody goes, ooh, ah, and they get a lot of attention and stuff, and they go, okay, well that's, I guess, how I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Whether it's in school or in my home or whatever, because that's what they see. So we absolutely, as adults, have to be a much stronger influence on them. And if they watch TV, they have to really understand that this is not real life. This is real life, you know. And these are all the possible ways that you can respond in a given situation, and the importance of choosing the positive ones. But if we don't get that first, it's never going to fly.
Right. And I'm really glad you said adults, because it's not just parents.
Right.
It's, you know, our children spend so many hours a week in front of a teacher,
Sure.
another adult. So it's not just the parents that really have to be good models of behavior and how to react to situations, but certainly teachers as well.
Teachers have such an enormous responsibility. And I think some of them may just think, well, my job is to educate them on this curriculum. But there's so much more than that. I mean, they're a human being, and, you know, every kid is called his teacher mom, right?
Right.
So, but that tells you a lot. I mean, there's something subconscious going on that they are a true authority figure. And they go through all these different teachers, and all these teachers have their own lives and their own stuff, and they show their stuff to the students, and kids have to understand a little bit of discernment, you know, and if we don't teach them that, then they're not going to learn it. And so what happens is, by the time they're teenagers and young adults, they've got this hodgepodge of input with no real clear sense of, well, what's best for them. It's just, you know, I think that's why you get mood swings, and some days you're going to respond this way, some days you're going to respond this. You know, you've got all this information on ways to respond, and no idea of the impact that if you choose the negative response, I mean, that's the best word I can come up with, but a response that doesn't really serve them, you know, they're just going to be unhappy young adults. But you're right, even little kids are depressed.
I know.
What's up with that? You know, and I don't remember that being such an issue when I was younger, but I definitely see it now. You know, these little 3rd and 4th graders who are just moody and staring off into space, and it's just wrong.
It really is. It really is. Well, that's why I'm really, really excited about the Happier Kids Now virtual event for parents and teachers, because Bob is going to be one of the top experts that are going to be interviewed on this program. And the greatest thing for parents and teachers at this event is free.
Right.
They can listen to the live event absolutely free, and the list of experts in the field of emotional intelligence, in positive parenting, in the law of attraction, and emotional intelligence are developing emotional literacy in children. The information on this is going to be so valuable. So I really, really encourage you to look below and sign up for the event, and you'll get emails about all the details, all the different speakers that are going to be involved. So again, Bob, I really, really want to thank you for sharing your insight and your expertise with parents and teachers.
Of
Thank
course.
you so much.
My pleasure.
I think that worked very well. I think it did.
Okay, good.
I personally did. You?
Yes, felt good.